गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग, गुड आफ्टरनून। आप सबको मेरा प्यार भरा नमस्कार। First of all, thank you so much to each and every one of you for the support that you have given me and that you have given this show. I can see there seems to be some echo in the voice. I can get some echo. So is that the case? Can you please type in the comments if you can hear any echo or is the voice clear? Is there any echo? Is what I'm typing in the comment section. Anyone and everyone who is with us live now, please let me know in the comments section if there is an echo that you can hear.
Voice is clear.
Okay, great. There seems to be no echo. Thank you so much for that. So, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you once again. And again, thank you so much for being here on this show today. I would like to start by saying thank you for the support that everyone has given this show. I'm so glad for the support that I get for this show, and we are in season 3 now. And I'm on the mission to create that awareness about leadership. कि अगर हमें कोई भी बदलाव लोगों में लाना है, कल्चर में लाना है, रिजल्ट्स में लाना है, then it is heavily dependent on the leadership of the organization. And that is the whole conversation that we're going to have on this show. Every guest who comes on this show is going to bring in a different perspective, a different experience to what leadership is. And how can we become those leaders who can make an impact on people, on culture, and the results of the organization. इसी मिशन पे मैं हूँ and यही मैं करने निकला हूँ, and that's the whole purpose of doing whatever I do and have been doing for the last few years. So to continue on this mission, today we're going to talk about a very important topic, a very pertinent topic of psychological safety. And to have such a deep conversation, I needed somebody who has diverse experiences of working with different kind of organizations, with different kind of people, with different cultures. And I was very blessed to find such a person who is with us today, has agreed to be on the show and share his perspectives and experiences with us and help us understand the importance of psychological safety, the importance of leadership in psychological safety, and what are the challenges that can come in. And our guest today is Mr. Balkrishan Sharma. Mr. Sharma is a techno-commercial business leader with about 3 decades of rich experience in multifunctional, multi-organizational, multicultural, and diverse domains of textiles like exports and domestic marketing, product launch, commercials, operations, quality control, and much more. Presently, he is the joint president and business head spinning Guinea Filaments, a market leader in quality and service in spunlace non-woven fabrics in India, and a preferred partner for overseas markets too. He has traveled extensively in more than 28 countries and has expertise in product positioning, brand visibility, value creation, strategic alliances, and partnership with more than 1,000 clients. Now that talks volumes about the experience this person holds. And not just this, he's also an executive council member of North India section of Textile Institute and North India Textile Research Association, Finance and Administrative Committee. So without any further delay, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Balkrishan Sharma.
Thank you, Prashant.
Good morning, Mr. Sharma. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Let me express my gratitude for that wonderful introduction, Prashant. It almost made me feel like I was about to give a keynote speech on the Oscars.
It was all about who you are and what's most more than your experience, Mr. Sharma, in our pre-show conversation that we had, is the ability to communicate your experience, communicate your point of view in a very effective manner. I think that's a very important skill of a leader, and I'm so glad you have it because we need that on this show. Somebody to communicate it right so that the audience get the value. So thank you again for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Prashant. Thank you so much, Prashant.
Great. So to start our conversation, which is about leadership and psychological safety, my first question to you, Mr. Sharma, is what are your thoughts on importance of psychological safety at workplace?
Prashant, before I move ahead, I must congratulate you for selecting this topic, psychological safety at the workplace. And I think it's a topic whose relevance seems to be spreading
for selecting this topic.
psychological safety at the workplace. And I think it's a topic whose relevance seems to be spreading. Is my voice clear? Or is it echo?
There seems to be
Because
some.
yeah, because I'm hearing my own voice.
Yeah, the
Now,
same thing
now
was
it's
happening
okay.
to me earlier.
Yeah. So anyway, I was telling that its relevance seems to be spreading like faster than a meme on social media across industries from healthcare to tech to financial to manufacturing. And I remember very discreetly, Prashant, this word suddenly became viral during pandemic. So all in all, if I have to say in brief, this subject is very important. This topic is very vital in creating a successful and a productive workplace. Now, before we move ahead, it's very important to get to the definition of psychological safety in order and what exactly it means in the context of a workplace. Let me also make it very clear to all, to you and as well as to the audience, that I'm neither a coach, I'm neither an expert, I'm not a certified speaker. So whatever I shall be saying will be from my heart, from my own 28 years of experience working with different people, different organizations, different cultures. So to me, it means creating an environment, creating a climate where all employees feel safe, where all employees feel comfortable to express their thoughts, their opinions, their perspectives, their insights, their ideas, their concerns. For example, I'm scared, I need help. Questions like, I don't understand what I'm doing. Or, for example, I'm struggling at home, and raise their hands to admit even failures. And that to Prashant with full confidence, without fear of judgment, without fear of retribution, without fear of ridicule, without fear of being belittled, without fear of being punished, without fear of being ignored, or any other negative consequence which you may think of, like, for example, being shown the door, layoff, no promotion, no increment, etc. So it's basically absence of interpersonal fear. It's absence of interpersonal fear. When it happens, when that fear is not there, obviously people are comfortable being themselves. They feel free to take risks. Risk like, adding pineapple to pizza. And they're able to challenge the status quo for the benefit of the organization. There is open communication. There are positive discussions. And then there are deeper connections. So building strong connections with your team, Prashant, we all know is so essential for effective leadership. It's just like connecting with someone on LinkedIn because you like something about them. So people then in that case, they engage in problem solving. They do not engage themselves, don't waste their time in backbiting. They don't waste their time in politics. It's just like, for example, turning down the volume of a noisy TV and turning up on a beautiful piece of music. And Prashant, when that happens, it automatically fosters tick. Tick means trust, innovation, and collaboration within the organization. And that affects, I think, the overall performance, satisfaction, health,
Hmm.
as well as productivity. And then when that happens, this allows companies to stay competitive. This allows
Hmm.
companies to stay profitable in an increasingly dynamic business world. You will say, is it all? But no, this is not all. Psychological safety also directly influences employees' engagement and employees' retention. Yesterday only, I was reading, according to the Harvard Business Review, all those organizations, all those companies that do not have psychological safety spends about 10 to 15% more on every hire. So I've seen employees who feel psychologically safe, they're more satisfied with the jobs, obviously less likely to leave, more committed to their work. They are like, you heard that song, I want to break free. No, they are less like that and more like, I'll always love you. So this not only saves company the cost of hiring, time of hiring, then cost and time of training new employees. Besides, it also leads to learning. It also leads to adaptation. And we all know how important it is. Crux is, Prashant, when employees are not afraid of being embarrassed, when employees are not afraid of being punished, they are less stressed, they are less anxious, they're likely to learn from their mistakes, they're likely to seek feedback, they're likely to improve upon their skills, mental skills, and also the physical health. So, in a funny way, if I'll say, who needs an apple a day when you got a psychological safety to keep the doctor away? So, one thing which I have noticed, Prashant, in my career is that psychological safety is also related to customer experiences. Satisfied, happy, and engaged employees lead to happy customers. Employees who feel safe, employees who feel valued, they are likely to go that extra mile to ensure customer satisfaction, customer delight, right? So it in turn leads to better branding, better reputation of the company. Since we're talking of the that customer experience, let me share a very small incident which happened a month back when I was in Himachal Pradesh before the floods came. I was in a property called named Araya in Palampur with my family. It was a lovely property. And the reason the property was lovely was not because of its fancy beds or great furniture or beautiful swimming pool. I think any hotel can buy fancy beds, any hotel can buy high-end furniture, can have beautiful swimming pools. It was lovely because of the people who work there. When you roam around and somebody says hello, you get the distinct feeling that they wanted to say hello, not that they were told to say hello. Prashant, you and me are highly attuned social animals. And I think we all can tell the difference. It's like people can tell the difference when they're forced to give good service or they want to give good service. So they had a coffee bar. So afternoon I went there and bought myself a cup of coffee. So barista was working there and he was quite funny, engaging. So I stood there uh, far too long just to buy a cup of coffee. Say, as my nature को सवाल पूछने की आदत है, I said, हाँ भाई, do you like your job? उसने अपनी हिंदी में बोला, yes, I love my job. And this is very significant because like is something which is rational. I like people. I like the challenge. I like my job. But love is emotional. Love is something higher order. Prashant, do you love your wife or do you like your wife? So we love your wife. It's different. It's not the same. So he said, I love my job.
I
मेरे
love
काम
my wife.
तो मेरे
वो
आपने
लाइव
तो
शो देख रही होंगी तो आई लव माय वाइफ.
आपने बिल्कुल नहीं नहीं वैसे भी ना भी देख रहे हो तो भी यस यू लव योर वाइफ. आपने तो नौकरी छोड़ करके ये काम शुरू कर दिया अपने वाइफ के चक्कर में. So anyways, so मेरे कान खड़े हो गए. He had an emotional connect to the job. I said, can you specifically tell what this hotel is doing that you जिसने कि आपको मजबूर कर दिया ये कहने के लिए कि you love your job.
बिल्कुल.
वो कहता है जी throughout my day managers will walk past me and ask me, is there anything that I need to do my job better? Anything they could do for me? Not just my manager, any manager. And then he said that he has worked in other
my job
hotels also.
paycheck. Anything they could do for me, not just my manager, any manager.
Hmm.
And then he said that he has worked in other hotels also.
Hmm.
Anything they could do for me, not just my manager, any manager.
Hmm.
I think again, Prashant, there is an echo.
Yeah, there seems to be an echo again. Is it better now?
Yeah, this seems to be better.
All right.
So I forgot where I was. So yes, he told that he worked in other hotels also, where the managers walk around and they just catch us when we are doing things wrong. So those are the managers who are trying to
Hmm.
drive performance. In those hotels, I just kept my head below the radar. I just want to get through the day. कैसे दिन टपाओ, महीना टपाओ, time टपाओ,
Hmm.
तनख्वाह पाओ, collect my paycheck. And then he said, I, it is in this hotel that I feel I can be myself.
Hmm.
Think about this for a second, Prashant. Exact same human being, exact same human being in two different jobs.
Hmm.
And yet our experience, your experience of him will be profoundly different. Not because of him, but because of the leadership environment in which he works.
Hmm.
In one experience, he's amazing. And other, he's terrible.
बिल्कुल.
In one, he will achieve success. In one, he will achieve recognition.
Hmm.
And the other, he will face challenge, he will face setbacks. आपको मालूम है, I hear this all the time. Leaders say, how do I get the most of my people? कैसे मैं ज्यादा से ज्यादा इनसे निकालूं? मैं बोलता हूं कि लोग क्या तौलिए हैं जिनको आप निचोड़ दोगे? They are not towel. You don't wring
बिल्कुल.
them out. People are not puppets. You don't pull their strings at your will. They are
Hmm.
not vending machines. You cannot expect them to dispense whatever you want, whenever you want, on your demand. People are not blank canvas. You
Hmm.
cannot really paint your desires onto them without their consent.
Hmm.
How do I get the most out of them? This question, Prashant, itself is a problem when it comes to leadership.
Hmm.
Question क्या होना चाहिए? How do I create an environment?
Hmm.
How do I create a climate in which my people can work at their natural best? And that
Hmm.
hotel has figured that out. It is by giving him control to do the job the way he wants to
Hmm.
do, and checking to make sure that the leadership is not there to do the job for him or to overtly control him, but
Hmm.
only to offer guidelines and then offer support. And the
Hmm.
same goes in any profession, any business, any workplace. You can find someone who is high performer, a very valuable member of the team, a very valuable member of the community because of the psychologically safe work culture. You change the workplace, and then the same member becomes a terrible member because of the leadership environment in which they work. So, all in all, Prashant, I think I took too much of time in one question only. In a psychological safety is something which is not nice to have. It's a must have
Hmm.
for any organization which wants to thrive, survive, succeed. It's a win-win scenario for the employees, for the leadership, for the organizations, for the customers. Prashant, these are what I think about psychological safety at workplace.
Great. Thank you. I so much resonate with what you said, Mr. Sharma. And the fact on the ground is that, as you rightly said in the beginning, that psychological safety as a term gained a lot of awareness during the pandemic. People got to know a lot about mental health, how important it is, how things impact people. And I'm glad that this happened, that people got more aware of it, because we are getting more attention towards psychological safety. There are a lot of conversations that are happening around psychological safety and its importance. And I'm very happy that the point you brought across, the perspective you put forward is that it's not just about wellness, it also connects directly to the results of the organization because your people will feel happier, they will feel safer, they will have the ability to take risks, they will innovate, they'll be ready to fail, to make mistakes, knowing that this organization allows them to be themselves and do their best, and they will bring their best to the workplace. And that's what psychological safety will do. And what I also liked about what you said is how it is the environment that defines and decides how an employee performs. The same person can be a very low performer as somebody that you hardly get to know is there. आया, अपना काम किया, 9 बजे आया, 5 बजे उठा अपनी कुर्सी से, बैग उठाया और चला गया. But the exact same person in a different workplace, in a different environment, can be somebody who helps people, who innovates, who motivates others, who gets results done, who gets the energy moving of that place. सेम इंसान दोनों जगहों पे बहुत डिफरेंट हो सकता है जस्ट बिकॉज द एनवायरनमेंट वाज डिफरेंट. और जो आपने एनेक्डोट शेयर किया ऑफ द कन्वर्सेशन दैट यू हैड विद द बारिस्टा, दैट इज अ ब्यूटीफुल एग्जांपल कि कैसे वही इंसान दो जगहों पे जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ हाउ he was treated differently, how he was made feel differently in that workplace, made him be a different person. And more than a different person, I think he was allowed to be himself, not a different person. शायद जहां वो सर नीचे रख के काम कर रहा था, that is where he wasn't himself. But in the other place, he was himself, so he was able to be happy, glad, and able to provide great customer service as well. So I'm so glad that these are the thoughts that you mentioned and perspectives you mentioned. There are some brilliant comments that are coming our way. One comment by Mona Lisa says, "You don't threaten the plant to produce more flowers. You add more
I
fertilizer, the tree does its own magic."
completely agree with Mona Lisa Chaudhary. I completely agree. I was also going through this very valid comment.
Great. Sujit says, "Creating the right customer experience is not just superficial or transactional. It's an emotional
Absolutely.
connection based on trust."
It is emotional. It is emotional.
Kuldeep says, many times, micromanagement adversely affects psychological safety.
Yeah, I will
आप लोग
speak about this, Kuldeep.
को
Yeah, I will speak about this.
great. Thank you for these comments, everyone who is watching. Very valuable comments. So these are conversations forward, Mr. Sharma. Now, no, we spoke about the importance of psychological safety. हम समझे कि होती क्या है psychological safety. एक workplace के लिए, employees के लिए, results के लिए important क्यों? That is determined. Now let us move to the part कि इसके बारे में किया जा सकता है. So my next question to you is, what role can and should leadership play in building psychological safe workplaces?
You are asking about the role of the leadership in building a psychologically safe work culture, right?
Yes.
Prashant, I think शुरुआती वहीं से होती है. Leadership plays a very, very crucial role. Basically, हर अपने लाइफ के अंदर भी हमने देखा है कि जिस चीज को आप प्रायोरिटाइज कर देते हो वो चीज ऊपर हो जाती है. सो इट ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन प्रायोरिटाइजेशन ऑफ द लीडर. It is the leader who sets the tone for the organization culture. It is the leader's actions, it is the leader's attitude which set the stage to influence how safe their employees feel. Prashant, good leaders might build good products, but great leaders build products as well as cultures. Good leaders might deliver results, but great leaders deliver results and develop people. Good leaders have vision, but great have vision as well as values. Good leaders might be role models at work, but great leaders are role models not only in work but also in life. जब आपकी बीवी ये कहने लग जाए कि मेरा पति हीरो, और जब आपके बच्चे ये कहने लग जाए कि पापा जैसा बनूंगा, then that is what is the real role model. So anyway, so leaders should actively encourage their teams to voice their topics. Topics means thoughts, opinions, perspectives, ideas, concerns. And leaders should make it clear that all the contributions are valued. So leaders must promote open, honest, transparent, and consistent communication. I always tell my people, Ghabrao mat, you are not a problem. You have a problem. You are not a problem, you have a problem. And you please tell me the problem so we can rally together to help you fix it. So leaders must actively listen to their employees. You know, if your team feels that you don't pay bloody attention when they speak, and they don't value your, or for example, you don't value your thoughts, their thoughts and opinions, they will simply shut down. Demonstrate engagement, be present during the meetings, come in time, make eye contacts, shut your laptop, shut your mobile. Then only they will provide constructive feedbacks. So leaders must encourage dialogues, formal, informal, both. Prashant, isn't it true that every person in the world wants a voice and wants to feel as if they are being heard? So
बिल्कुल.
use these lines. For example, जब बात करते हैं तो पूछें कि what I heard you say is like this. Is that correct? आपने ये बोला, मैंने ये सुना, क्या ये सही है? So this shows to your team member that you want to understand their perspective. So I also, in my organization, I hold regular team meetings, different levels, different leadership level, managerial level, staff level, workers level, and idea is to encourage everyone to share their topic. Topic is the acronym for thoughts, opinions, perspectives, insights. So besides this, I also try to get to know you type informal gatherings, जहाँ पे कि अपने बैकग्राउंड्स के बारे में, कल्चर्स के बारे में, इंटरेस्ट के बारे में लोग शेयर करें, कल्चरल फूड्स के बारे में शेयर करें, अपने ट्रेडिशंस के बारे में शेयर करें. हम स्पोर्ट्स कराते हैं, तो वहां भी workers learn something new and they form a common ground. So I believe in providing opportunities for team building and try to promote situations outside of the workplace. हम बाहर भी ले जाते हैं लोगों को, और बर्थडे पार्टीज भी करते हैं मंथली, टीम आउटिंग्स भी करते हैं, कभी लंच इकट्ठा करते हैं, तो कभी डिनर इकट्ठा करते हैं. तो आई हैव सीन दैट दीज बॉन्ड्स कीप टीम्स कनेक्टेड, एंड स्पेशली व्हेन द चैलेंजेस राइज, तब ये बॉन्ड्स बहुत हेल्पफुल होते हैं. आप बोलोगे कि क्या बस इतना ही या और भी कुछ? So next is that for psychological safety, leaders must have trust. Trust until there is no reason to trust. Business should learn to trust from military, where trust is a matter of life and death. जो उसने कह दिया वही करना है आपको. In order to build trust, leaders must be authentic. And authentic means, how can a leader be authentic? When leaders lead by example. अपने मुंह में गुड़ रख के दूसरे को मीठा खाने के लिए मना कर नहीं सकते, खुद लेट आकर के दूसरों को पंक्चुअलिटी का पाठ पढ़ा नहीं सकते. I have seen leaders. So do you agree? So this is very important. Then I have seen leaders who strive to model behaviors of vulnerability, openness, inclusivity, respect, and they inspire the teams also to do the same. I always share my personal stories of past failures, and I've done a lot of mistakes, but I have learned lessons out of them. And even now, ask my team, I'm the first one to admit mistake. I don't believe in masking. I want to show who am I, what I value, and why I value. I'm completely transparent about the challenges. All this, Prashant, basically sends the message in very clear terms that it is safe to take risk. It is safe to learn from mistakes. Prashant ji, I know it's very scary for many leaders who are accustomed to looking perfect. मेरे करियर के शुरुआत में I made a mistake at work. I missed a typesetting error in a printed magazine that costed us to reprint that. I was upset, and I unknowingly forced myself into perfectionist mode. And I vowed that, no, I will never make mistake like that again. But then my boss, Mr. V.K. Goyal, was there. He supported me. He said, Balkrishan, I know that you have worked hard. गलती होगी, कोई बात नहीं. Let's take lesson. Let's move on. किसी के सामने मुझे belittle नहीं किया. कभी क्रिटिसाइज नहीं किया. लेटर ऑन इन माई करियर, उसके बाद भी आई मेड ऑल काइंड ऑफ मिस्टेक्स. अभी बिल्कुल ओपनली बोल रहा हूँ, बट इन मोर सपोर्टिव एनवायरमेंट. I can't say I have been entirely cured of my perfectionism even now, but I have learned that it is possible to create spaces where mistakes can have a positive impact on the mistake maker and everyone around them. So when I was in Vardhaman Textiles in my initial years, our chairman, Shri S.P. Oswalji, he would always encourage us to write about experiential learnings. क्या क्या गलतियां की, क्या क्या सीखा, वो लिखो आप. So he always used to tell me, Balkrishan, mistakes are instructive. Mistakes are excellent teachers. आप जब शुरुआत के दिनों में, जब आपका बिल्कुल राइट माइंड हो और आपको ये चीजें फीड कर दी जाएं आपके करियर के स्टार्ट में, तो इट हैज इट्स इम्पैक्ट. वो बोलते थे, वॉक द टॉक. कभी अच्छे कपड़े पहन के चले गए तो डोंट जस्ट अपग्रेड योर वार्डरोब, अपग्रेड योरसेल्फ टू, अपडेट योरसेल्फ टू. एंड he always used to say learning is something which is never out of fashion. So leaders also need to empower their employees. Good leaders are those who honor, who empower, who respect others, creating a positive environment where people then willingly follow you. They need to delegate authority as effectively. जैसे कि a maestro conducts an orchestra, he doesn't try to play all the instruments himself. So, as Kuldeep Kumar Chauhan mentioned, that leaders should not be micromanagers.
Yeah.
It should not be a command and control sort of thing. It wears out people faster than a gym session. Leaders need to encourage autonomy.
Beautiful.
They must give team freedom to fail. I always tell my team, fail fast, learn fast. Pick yourself up and try again. So leaders need to involve them in decision-making process. Idea is to give employees a sense of ownership, a sense of control over their work. So then they will feel safe to take risk, share ideas, challenge the status quo. So I give them freedom to experiment with new approach and support them if they encounter setbacks. So, Prashant, these are some of the things. Yes, there is another thing which I forgot. That is creating a learning culture. All leaders worth their salt are lifelong learners, irrespective of their experience and expertise. I see you, I see your posts. आपको इतना कुछ पता है, आपने books लिखी हैं, but still you are teachable. You are willing to learn. You are willing to adapt. You are curious. You are humble. So leadership and learning, you cannot separate them. They are inseparable. Again, I come back to my Vardhaman times in 1995, the same month, July 1995. I was asked to give a presentation on friction spinning, drift spinning, which was something new at that time. And I was pleased to see how everyone in the organization was willing to learn from a chap who's just 10 years old in the industry. So that gave me the impression that, yes, it's a learning organization. I heard that word learning organization or the relevance of that in those times. I also saw our chairman, Shri S.P. Oswal, visiting overseas, always bringing books for their, CEOs. For example, the book, The Goal, Good is the Enemy of Great. So it was a learning organization. And the leader at the top was someone who always wanted to know more. He was curious to know more. So this was my foundation, Prashant, which shaped my thoughts, which shaped my perspectives. Even now, I accept I have not learned enough. Neither I have achieved enough. Neither I have accomplished enough. I get up every day with a mindset that today I learned something new, I discovered something new. And I learn from all people from all walks of life. I learn from my workers, I learn from my contractors, I learn from my colleagues, peers. I learn from my mistakes, I learn from my failures. So I think leaders need to be like a sponge, soak up learning from everyone you interact with. Why am I saying this? Because I believe that leaders should foster an organizational culture that values continuous learning, continuous growth. अगर मैं अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की बात करूं तो हमेशा कोशिश करता हूं कि प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट के लिए, स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए जहां भी भेजना हो भेजूं, किसी को इनवाइट
Hmm.
करना है तो आइडिया इज प्रशांत, जब जो भी कुछ कहा उसका आइडिया यह है कि emphasize learning rather than blaming,
Hmm.
learning rather than punishing for the mistakes, learning rather than criticizing, learning rather than rebuking. Past is something which is not a barometer, for future. Past में आप सक्सेसफुल हो तो इसका मतलब कोई नहीं है कि अब आगे भी फ्यूचर में भी आप सक्सेसफुल होगे, आपको लर्न करते रहना पड़ेगा. You can't race ahead and while still looking at the rear view mirror. We must be ready to unlearn, to learn, to relearn. एक और पॉइंट दिमाग में आ रहा है प्रशांत, वो सर्वेंट लीडरशिप के बारे में. तो सर्वेंट लीडरशिप का मतलब है कि जिसमें कि टीम मेंबर्स ये प्रैक्टिस करें, थिंकिंग ऑफ अदर्स एंड वर्किंग टू फाइंड वेज टू हेल्प अदर्स पीपल्स आइडियाज एंड हेल्प अदर्स पीपल्स ओपिनियंस. जब ऐसा होता है तो आई थिंक पीपल only feel valued when team members have the heart to value each other.
Hmm.
So the idea of considering others before you is so important to build a diverse team and a successful organization.
Hmm.
So जो साइकोलॉजिकल सेफ्टी की बात करते हैं तो उसमें लीडर्स कैसे होने चाहिए? एक्सेप्टिंग नेचर के होने चाहिए. एक्सेप्टेंस मीन्स एबिलिटी टू परसीव थिंग्स एज दे आर विदाउट जजमेंट, विदाउट प्री कंसीव्ड आइडियाज
Hmm.
कि क्या गलत है, क्या ठीक है, क्या पॉजिटिव है, क्या नेगेटिव है. सो व्हेन एम्प्लॉइज टेक रिस्क, व्हेन एम्प्लॉइज सक्सीड, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू सेलिब्रेट देयर सक्सेस. जो जिसमें खुश होता है उसको वो चीज के लिए हम सेलिब्रेशन करते हैं, छोटी छोटी सेलिब्रेशन करते हैं, रिवार्ड देते हैं, रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि टीम को ये फीलिंग हो कि they must feel valued, they must feel appreciated, and then it will encourage them to take more risks in the future. प्रशांत, एक और चीज, आप कहेंगे आपकी चीज खत्म ही नहीं हो रही, कुछ कभी कुछ कभी कुछ. So fun quotient FQ and humor quotient HQ is equally important as IQ and EQ.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
मेरे इनिशियल ईयर्स में कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में वर्धमान में मेरे सीईओ मिस्टर वीके गोयल थे, वो हमेशा खुश रहते.
Hmm.
अभी भी हैं, जहां पे भी हैं वो एससीएल के एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर में खुश रहते हैं हमेशा, कितना भी प्रेशर सिचुएशन हो हमेशा. सो आई यूज्ड टू सी यस टू हाउ हिज ह्यूमर यूज्ड टू डू वंडर्स where bucket full of cold calculated logic would have failed. So he remained a firm believer of using a little bit of sugar to help the medicine go down. So I learned from him that leaders have to be serious about their work. अगर लीडर को सीरियस होना है काम के बारे में, then leaders must get better at appreciating and leveraging humor at the workplace.
Hmm.
Importance of humor is something which is underrated of trades. It is neglected in the corporate world. वीआईपी सीट किसको मिलती है? सीरियसनेस को, स्टर्ननेस को. आज मान लीजिए प्रशांत, मैं अभी आपके साथ बात कर रहा हूँ, बीच में हंस भी रहा हूँ, लाफ भी कर रहा हूँ. अगर मैं बिल्कुल सीरियस होकर बात करूंगा ना तो आपकी ऑडियंस में से आधी गायब हो जाएगी 2 मिनट में. So seriousness and sternness get the VIP seats, which they should not. Humor is a great stress buster. Humor relieves tension, especially in pressure situations. It breaks barriers, it builds bridges, it creates bonding, it creates cohesiveness. क्या नहीं करता? It improves collaboration. It increases, it improves deeper relationships. It increases likability. जैसे मैं आपकी स्माइल से मैं बड़ा प्रभावित हूँ, मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगती है आपकी स्माइल. So it signals approachability. If suppose I put a stone face or a poker face and I aim for perfection, कोई मेरे कमरे में भी नहीं आएगा. People will just try to distance, themselves from me. They will think are they dealing with a statue? They would like to, people like to deal with a human. So humor help build winning teams. Organization cultures that can laugh on themselves are likely to be most adaptive to changing times.
Mm,
Yes, but there is a caveat. The only thing which I do not encourage is inappropriate humor. Keep stand-up comedy. No, it must be well-intentioned, should never be personal, should not be to put others down. Best humor is always something to take on oneself and stay inclusive and respectful. I think, Prashant, this is what leadership role is, in my view, for psychological sake, workplace.
right. Thank you, Mr. Sharma, for sharing what you shared, and to everyone in the audience who's listening to us now, watching this, and for everyone who's going to watch the recording later and the nuggets that come later. It's my request to you, go back, rewind things for the last 15, 20 minutes and see what Mr. Sharma shared. Because what he shared is something that you need to make a note of each and every point. Right from when he started by saying that employees want to be heard, they want to feel valued. So make sure that your employees feel that way. Then he shared how important a role leadership plays in building leaders in the organization, how he got influenced and inspired by his early days leaders for him to be shaped to be who he is today. And now he's having that ripple effect on more people, more organizations, and will continue to have for years to come. That's how important leadership is. And how important it is for your people to feel valued, for your people to feel inspired, for your people to be able to be themselves in the organization. And only leaders can foster and nurture such an environment जहाँ पे आपके लोग ऐसा feel करें. तो आपको ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हैं. आपका बिहेवियर, आपकी एक छोटी-सी स्माइल, आपकी छोटी-सी शाबाशी, आपके छोटे स्मॉल टॉक्स विद पीपल, उनको बाहर लेके जाना लंच पे, कहीं घुमाने, एक एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करते हैं वेयर योर पीपल फील वैल्यूड, पीपल कनेक्टेड टू यू एज़ अ लीडर, दे फील कनेक्टेड टू द ऑर्गनाइजेशन. उनको लगता है कि ये हमारे घर जैसा ही है. इसको हम गिरने नहीं देंगे, इसको हमें बढ़ाना है. That's how your people feel. And that's what Mr. Sharma is talking about. He's talking about how leaders can foster an environment where people feel inspired, people feel valued, people feel taken care of, people feel appreciated, people feel celebrated. एंड व्हाइल यू टेक दिस जर्नी, ही ब्यूटीफुली सेड कि ये सिर्फ केक वॉक नहीं होगा कि अच्छा ऐसा करेंगे और सब कुछ परफेक्ट चलेगा. देयर विल बी फेलियर्स. When you allow such an environment, people will take chances, people will take risks, which means there will be an increase in the number of failures as well. And that needs to be appreciated, that needs to be analyzed कि क्या हुआ, क्यों हुआ. Don't focus on that person as the problem, because the person is not the problem, the problem is the problem. That's a very beautiful point that Mr. Sharma mentioned कि हम लोग बहुत पर्सनल हो जाते हैं कि ये बंदा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, जो हुआ वो प्रॉब्लम है, उस पे फोकस करके उसको एनालाइज करके फिगर आउट कीजिए. And he also shared a very beautiful anecdote of how he made a mistake in the past in his early days, and how his leader, not blaming him, not demeaning him, told him कि ठीक है आपसे गलती हो गई, इससे आपने कुछ सीखा, आगे इसके इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं उस सीख को. उनका जवाब हाँ था, and he moved on. And it was a huge mistake, but that's how the leader did. So Mr. Sharma felt more accountable, more responsible for who he is in that organization, and he improved on his performance. Another beautiful thing that you mentioned, Mr. Sharma, is learning culture. और मुझे वो बड़ा सही लगा जब आपने कहा ना, leadership and learning go hand in hand. It's like leadership is equal to learning. If you're not a lifelong learner, by where you said I get up every single day and I'm look forward to the day कि आज मैं क्या सीखूंगा, आज मैं क्या नया डिस्कवर करूंगा. That's such a beautiful enthusiasm. Otherwise you can get bogged down कि वही काम, वही लोग, वही चल रहा है, वही जिंदगी क्या है. But it's very important to look at each day as a learning experience. And thank you for mentioning that. And I hope everyone who's listening to this goes back to it, makes a note of these points, and ask themselves, how do I become this kind of a leader? What am I doing today that is reflecting these points in my leadership? What am I not doing today that I need to start doing? And what am I doing today that I should not be doing because it's opposite to what Mr. Sharma just mentioned? Ask yourself these questions, and that's how what will help you grow as leaders. And you will see an impact on your people, you will see impact on the culture, and as Mr. Sharma said, you will see impact on the overall results of the organization. तो हर जगह impact होता है. So thank you, Mr. Sharma. I try to sum up whatever you said in whatever ways I could.
Thank you.
But thank you
Beautifully
so much
summed
for
up.
sharing. So now we move on to the next question. Now we understood that psychological safety is important. We understood why it is important. We also understood what roles roles can leaders play? What behaviors can they show and display and changes they can make to actually build a culture of psychological safety? अब ये करते हुए, as I said earlier, कि ये आसान नहीं होगा. I'm sure there are challenges that will come in the way while a leader is trying to build a psychologically safe workplace. So my next question to you is based on that. What are the challenges that you think will come in the way or do come in the way of leadership while trying to build a psychologically safe workplace?
राइट। प्रशांत, एक बड़ी मिसकंसेप्शन है बिजनेस लीडर्स में that psychological safety will be automatically present in any reasonably healthy work environment. आपने हेल्दी वर्क एनवायरनमेंट दे दिया तो साइकोलॉजिकल सेफ्टी उसके अंदर होगी ही होगी। बट सच्चाई ये है, साइकोलॉजिकल सेफ वर्क एनवायरनमेंट्स आर रेयर। भी सुन के कितनी हैरानी होती है। क्रिएटिंग साइकोलॉजिकल सेफ्टी in a workplace is such a challenge, and it takes an unusual degree of commitment. It takes unusual degree of skill, on part of leadership. The reason is very simple, Prashant. It's very natural for people to hold back their ideas. It's very natural for people to be reluctant to ask questions. छोड़ो ना क्या पूछना. It is very natural to shy away from disagreeing with the boss. अरे बॉस है भैया, जो कह रहे हैं मान जाओ. It is natural. And when this tendency is there, when free exchange of ideas is not there, when free exchange of concerns is not there, when free exchange of questions is not there, then it's a problem. And Prashant, to reverse it takes focus and effort. It's a process of helping people develop new beliefs, new behaviors, and none is neither easy nor it is natural. Close your eyes, Prashant. I mean, don't close your eyes, just imagine. There is a hospital. Visualize a nurse, night shift. एक पर्टिकुलर पेशेंट पड़ा हुआ है, एंड द नर्स नोटिस की इसकी डोसेज जो उसको दी जा रही है वो ज्यादा है. सो शी थिंक्स, फोन उठाती हूँ, डॉक्टर को कॉल करती हूँ, घर पे होंगे, रीचेक कर लेती हूँ कि सर डोज ज्यादा है. बट जैसे ही फोन उठाती है, शी रिकॉल्स कि पिछली बार जब फोन किया था तो क्या उसने क्रिटिकल कमेंट्स किए थे अबाउट हर एबिलिटीज. लास्ट टाइम जब कॉल किया था उसने बोला था कि मेरे को डिस्टर्ब मत करो, जो मैंने कह दिया वो ठीक है. सो शी टेल्स हरसेल्फ, अपने आप को बोलती है, डोज इज फाइन, पेशेंट इज ऑन एक्सपेरिमेंट प्रोटोकॉल, सो हो सकता है कि हाई डोज देनी हो. दूसरा सीन, एक यंग पायलट है, मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग फ्लाइट के अंदर नोटिस करता है कि सीनियर ने एक क्रूशियल मिस जजमेंट कर दी है. He lets the moment go by. कहते छोड़ो यार, कोई फायदा नहीं है, जो करा करने दो. एक senior executive who has recently been hired by a company to join the top management team, he has grave reservations about a planned takeover, for example. But now he's new to the team and he is feeling like an outsider. And since everyone else is so enthusiastic about the plan, वो कहता है यार अब मैं क्या बोलूं? So he doesn't say anything. एक टीचर है, she's in a school and she observes that the fellow teacher is using outdated or ineffective teaching method. Students are not engaged, they are disengaged, they are uninterested. The teacher who observes hesitates to offer any suggestions because she knows that the other teacher is defensive, resistant to change. So the observing teacher convinces herself कि नहीं, ये एक्सपीरियंस टीचर है, इसी को ज्यादा पता होगा, he must be knowing better. और हो सकता है कि हर अप्रोच might have some hidden benefits. आपने को समझा दिया. एक इंजीनियर है, कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहे हैं, and he notices a structural flaw in the builder's design that could compromise the safety. But he is new to the team, he is junior also, so he is afraid of being seen as a troublemaker. लोग कहेंगे यार तो हमेशा गलत ही बोलता रहता है. or he's someone's like who lack trust in the senior architects and senior engineers. So engineers chooses to stay silent, assuming that the team must have thoroughly reviewed the plans and that he might not fully understand the complexities of the project. तो उसने सोचा कि हो सकता है मेरे को ही ना समझ में आ रहा। प्रशांत, ये 5 एपिसोड्स मैंने आपको बताए हैं वर्क प्लेस साइलेंस के, where voice was necessary, where voice would have been helpful. In any organization where this happens, you can bet the bottom line is being impacted. Up, Prashant, you will think, if I were in their shoes, I would not do that. मैं तो बोलूंगा, आप सोचोगे ऐसे, लेकिन हम पहले सोचते हैं कि ऐसा होता क्यों है? Why does this happen? It's very simple. क्या है कि कोई भी आदमी, no one wakes up in the morning, jumps out of the bed because they can't wait to get to the work today to look ignorant, to look incompetent, to look intrusive, to look negative, right? No. We would prefer to look smart. We would prefer to look positive. We would prefer to look helpful. So, the good news about all this is, it's easy to manage. बहुत आसान है. Don't want to look ignorant? Don't ask questions. Don't want to look incompetent? Don't admit mistakes. Don't admit weakness. Don't want to look intrusive? Don't offer ideas. And if you don't want to look negative at all, then don't criticize the status quo. जो चलता है चलने दो. So this is a successful strategy. It works for self-protection. And psychologists इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Impression management. And most of the people are very good at it. We learn how to do this sometime in school. By the time we are working adults, it's all about our second nature. कभी ऐसा हुआ आपके साथ? Have you ever had a question and look around and you don't ask? क्योंकि कोई तो और पूछ नहीं रहा, मैं ही क्यों पूछूं? No one else seems to be asking. Maybe I'm supposed to know, मुझे आता ही नहीं है. बिल्कुल. या फिर सोचते हैं कि I'll figure it out later, मैं बाद में पढ़ लूंगा, किसी से पूछ लूंगा. वहां नहीं पूछूंगा क्योंकि मैं बेवकूफ ना लगूं. अभी मैं अपना रियल लाइफ इंसिडेंस मुझे याद आ गया जैसे ही बेवकूफ वर्ड बोला. I was an executive and it was year 1998. I was sent as a core team member for implementation of ERP from Datatex Israel. That was the software, and IBM was our consultant. So we were having a meeting in Baddi. Baddi is in Himachal Pradesh. So they were giving a presentation. I was not able to understand. In the same room, मेरे से senior लोग भी वहां बैठे थे. Senior executives were also there. और everyone was nodding. Everyone was taking notes. सब लोग ऐसे से सिर भी हिला रहे थे, नोट्स भी ले रहे थे. तो बार बार मुझे ये लग रहा था कि आई एम द ओनली बेवकूफ, आई एम द ओनली इडियट. फिर भी भगवान का नाम लिया, करेज, मुट्ठी बंद की और मैंने पूछ लिया. मैंने कहा सर आई एम सॉरी बट ये समझ नहीं आ रहा. आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दिस. कैन यू एक्सप्लेन दिस अगेन प्लीज? कंसल्टेंट ने ऐसे मुंह करके देखा कि उसका टाइम मैं खराब कर रहा हूँ, कि सबको समझ में आ रहा है अकेला आदमी तू ही बेवकूफ है. और थोड़ी देर बाद अनबिलीवेबल हैपेंड. जो दूसरा सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव थे उसमें से एक ने बोल दिया कि उसको भी समझ नहीं आ रहा. दे डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड आइडिया. और फिर उसके बाद एक और ने बोल दिया. तो सो आई थॉट कि कंपनी ने इतना पैसा दे देना था. Company would have paid a lot of money for something which we haven't understood. And that was the day that I realized that there is a lot of value being a bearcoof. There is a lot of value being an idiot. So why does this matter? It matters because every one of those moments, every time we withhold, we rob ourselves, we rob our colleagues, we rob our organizations of small moments of learning and we do not innovate. We don't come up with new ideas. We are so busy unconsciously managing impressions that we don't contribute to creating a better organization. The nurse doesn't call, pilot doesn't speak, executive doesn't say anything, teacher doesn't suggest, engineer stays silent. The good news is that not every workplace works in this way. There are workplaces where people do wake up in the morning, if not eager, at least willing and ready to take the interpersonal risk of learning. I call these special workplaces that have got psychological safety. These are the places. Let me just suggest three simple things which you can do, leaders can do, or listeners can do, so that nurse takes the call, pilot speaks up, executive reveals his concerns about the takeover, teachers give suggestions, engineer doesn't stay silent. क्या करना चाहिए? क्या करें leaders? Frame the work. First point is frame the work as a learning problem, not an execution problem. Recognize, make explicit. सबको बोलो कि यार देखो ये प्रॉब्लम है, बहुत अनसर्टेनिटी है, कई चीजों से इंटरडिपेंडेंट है, कई वेरिएबल्स हैं, एंड ये भी बोलो कि वी हैव नेवर बीन हियर बिफोर, ऐसा हमने कभी पहले देखा नहीं है, वी डोंट नो व्हाट विल हैपन, ये लीडर को बोलना पड़ेगा. एंड फिर बोलें कि वी हैव गॉट टू हैव एवरीबॉडीज ब्रेन, सबके दिमाग चाहिए मेरे को, सबके एंड वॉइसेस इन द गेम. फिर क्रिएट होगा रैशनल फॉर स्पीकिंग अप. दैट क्रिएट्स द रैशनल फॉर स्पीकिंग अप. मतलब लोगों की जुबान को खुलवाना है. सेकेंडली, एक्नॉलेज, मानो कि योर फॉलेबिलिटी, योर वल्नरेबिलिटी. से सिंपल थिंग्स, डायलॉग्स बता रहा हूं जो मैं बोलता हूं. हो सकता है मेरे को आई मे मिस समथिंग, फिर मैं बोलता हूं आई नीड टू हियर फ्रॉम यू. एंड सबऑर्डिनेट्स के साथ भी ऐसे, कोलीग्स के साथ भी ऐसे, पीयर्स के साथ भी ऐसे. तो फिर हो जाता है कि दिस क्रिएट्स अ सेफ्टी फॉर स्पीकिंग अप. राइट प्रशांत? एंड थर्ड इज मॉडल क्यूरोसिटी. आस्क लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चन. जैसे वो बरिस्ता से क्वेश्चन पूछने लग गया, कभी लिफ्ट में जाता हूँ किसी होटल में तो जो मिलता है उसी से क्वेश्चन पूछने लग जाता हूँ. यू हैव टू आस्क व्हाट्स ऑन योर माइंड, व्हाट डू यू सी, व्हाट कंसर्न्स डू यू हैव, व्हाट क्वेश्चंस डू यू हैव, एंड जस्ट मेक इट मोर डिफिकल्ट फॉर पीपल. मेक इट डिफिकल्ट फॉर पीपल टू रिमेन साइलेंट देन टू स्पीक अप. मेक इट डिफिकल्ट फॉर पीपल, वो चुप रहे ना, वो बोलें. क्रिएट अ नेसेसिटी फॉर वॉइस. Create a necessity for voice. So these, I think, three simple things, Prashant, can go a long way towards creating the kind of workplace where we can avoid the catastrophes you saw coming in those 5 scenes. And one more thing, Prashant, abhi dimag mein hai ki it really matters as to how you respond. वो बहुत जरूरी है. कोई आपको बुरी खबर बताने आया और आप उसी के ऊपर चढ़ गए तो तकलीफ हो जाएगी. You must not shoot the messenger when people come forward with ideas or bad news. You have to just take a deep breath and respond in a forward-looking, positive, appreciative manner. तो प्रशांत, ये जो बातें इतनी सारी की, अभी इसमें कभी कभी क्या होता है कि हमारे लीडर्स, जैसे मान लीजिए किसी, मैं हिरार्की में दूसरे नंबर पे हूं और मेरे को मेरा लीडर बोले कि भाई आपने ऐसा एटमॉस्फेयर बनाइए जिससे कि पीपल फील सेफ या पीपल विल बिकम बेटर लिसनर्स, फॉर एग्जांपल. सो यहाँ पे क्या तकलीफ है? क्रिएटिंग चेंज becomes very challenging when the objective is framed like helping people save or becoming better listeners. ये goals important हैं, यही हमने अभी तक बोला, पिछले 1 घंटे से हम यही बोल रहे हैं कि these are very important, but they serves as a means to an end. They are not the ultimate objectives. अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव ये नहीं है. Senior executives recognize the significance of psychological safety when they realize its role in solving complex problems, because their primary concern is only or means often achieving performance.
Yeah.
So एक psychologically safe work environment के अंदर it is crucial to reframe the narrative away from the cultural change, away from the interpersonal skills. Emphasis कहाँ पे देना है? Demonstrate that the quality and the openness of conversations impact results. हमारे यहाँ पे हम क्वालिटी सर्कल्स करते हैं, तो सभी क्रॉस फंक्शनल टीम्स को बिठाते हैं, उनको एक प्रॉब्लम देते हैं और एनकरेज करते हैं कि बोलो, बात करो. वो 10 बार बात करते हैं और फिर 15वीं बार में रिजल्ट आ जाते हैं. सो ये थ्योरेटिकल क्लेम नहीं है, दिस इज अ प्रैक्टिकल वन. If you want to succeed in knowledge intensive work, then you have to rely on diverse ideas, you have to rely on diverse expertise, and this necessitates a willingness to speak candidly, promptly, truthfully, honestly. So, operate differently, Prashant. 2 steps. First, help the individual teams experience progress on their challenges by engaging in regular sessions, safe sessions. They can practice, skills. Secondly, support these participants who have experienced success in tackling tough situations now to share their stories with the others. Encourage them to highlight how open communication, how vulnerability, how considering different perspectives, enabled positive outcomes. So as more and more people incorporate these skills into their work, evidence of their effectiveness will continue to grow.
Thank you
That's
so
all I
much.
have to say.
What you mentioned, what you shared is again so comprehensive. And what I love about what you shared, I'm intentionally using the word love and not like, is because I really love what you shared, and not just because you tried to cover all possible aspects to the question that I asked. Because the audience that we have, people who are listening to it now, people who will listen to it later, today, tomorrow, after a month, after a year, because it's going to be there forever, will be from different dynamics, will be from different backgrounds, in different situations, in different kind of professionals, in different roles, in different hierarchies. So it's important to communicate in a way जहाँ सब connect कर सके कि हाँ, मैं भी इससे connect कर पा रहा हूँ, मैं ये समझ पा रहा हूँ, मेरे लिए भी ये relevant है. I think the biggest plus of this conversation so far is knowledge, yes, that you're sharing, the experience that you're sharing, but the biggest plus is how you are communicating it so that it becomes relevant for almost everyone in the audience. So thank you so much for putting in an effort to make it relevant for everyone in the audience. And my biggest takeaway from what you shared a lot of things, almost everything very important. But one thing that stood out was giving a voice to your people, making your people feel involved, making your people feel engaged, making your people feel included. And that would happen by making sure you're questioning your people regularly with an intent to honestly listen and giving them that space where they feel safe to speak up, knowing that they will be heard. And then you said it's very important to be aware of how you respond to that voice. अगर वहां से आवाज उठ रही है और आपका रिस्पॉन्स उसको इनकरेज नहीं कर रहा है या उसको बिलिटल कर रहा है, डिमीन कर रहा है, तो वो आवाज अगली बार नहीं उठेगी. So I think that was very powerful in what you said. Question, listen, and be aware of how you are responding to the voice of your people. That's what will encourage them to speak the next time. और एक चीज आपने और बहुत अच्छी कही कि बहुत आसान है ये सब नहीं करना, इसीलिए ये नहीं हो रहा है. तो मैं सुबह उठा, मैं गया, मैंने अपना काम किया, सर नीचे रखा, चुपचाप से किया, कुछ गलत होते हुए देखा, सर घुमा लिया, अपना काम किया, अपना जॉब सेफ रखा, अपनी नौकरी कर रहा हूँ, 30 तारीख को सैलरी मिल रही है, जिंदगी चल रही है ठीक ठाक से, क्यों दूसरों के मामले में पढ़ूं, क्यों आवाज उठाऊं, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. इट्स वेरी सेफ टू डू दैट. एंड the beautiful part about that sharing was कि we should not feel guilty about such thought process. It is our default response to protect ourselves. हम बने ही हैं अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए. हमारा सर्वाइवल मैकेनिज्म बोलता है कि भाई अपना ध्यान रख, शांत रह, ज्यादा मत बोल, तेरे ऊपर ही आएगा, तू फंसेगा बीच में, तो तुम चुप रहते. इट्स गुड दैट वी कैन बिकम अवेयर ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट ठीक है, जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ, अगर मैं ऐसा फील कर रहा हूँ तो मैं नॉर्मल, ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरे साथ कोई प्रॉब्लम है. But if I want to make some change, if I want to show up differently, if I want to make a difference in the work culture around, if I want to be looked upon as somebody who's an initiator, who is a leader, it is beautiful what will happen if you start raising your voice. जैसे आपने अपना एग्जांपल दिया कि क्लास में आपने आवाज उठाई तो और चार आवाजें उठी और 10 आवाजें उठी. People need that one spark to ignite the whole thing, and you can be that spark. So take those chances. But on the flip side, it's very important for leaders to create such an environment where people feel safe to raise their voice. अगर वो safe feel नहीं करेंगे तो safety is above everything else. They'll be like नहीं, मेरा काम खराब हो सकता है, नौकरी जा सकती है, पता नहीं इसके बाद क्या सुनना पड़ेगा, चुप रहो. If as a leader you're not creating that space, then your people won't voice out, and इसमें सबका नुकसान है. You are losing out as a leader, the employees are losing out, the customers are losing out, the organizational result is losing out. इसमें सबका लॉस है. दूसरा
Subcultures.
पॉइंट जो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, वो मुझे लगा कि लीडर्स ये सोच रहे होंगे कि यार मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ क्रिएटिंग दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, बिल्डिंग दिस टीम इज नॉट कि आई वांट टू बिल्ड अ साइकोलॉजिकली सेफ टीम. दैट इज नॉट व्हाई आई एम हियर. एंड दैट इज द राइट थिंग टू से एंड राइट थिंग टू थिंक कि ये ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं है. दीज आर द मीन्स टू द एंड. If you create a psychologically safe workplace, your employees will feel more loyal to the organization. They will perform better. They will innovate better. So your results will be more efficient. People will be happier. Retention will be better. Everything around as a culture will be better. तो results impact होंगे. आपके customer खुश होंगे. तो organization के results भी बढ़ेंगे, which is the end objective. So this is the means to the end. So how psychologically safe workplace, nurturing that will automatically increase the results by leaps and bounds. I think that was also something beautiful that I liked in what you said. So thank you, Mr. Sharma, for sharing these perspectives. And I'm sure audience would be like, Prashant, तूने ये मिस कर दिया, ये तूने बोला ही नहीं, इसके बारे में तूने summarize नहीं किया. Because there was so much shared, I'm sure I missed out a lot of points which are more important than what I shared. So please make a note of them. Please go back and see this video again, this conversation again, and see how you can implement that. And if you have questions regarding that, कि आपके मन में आ रहे हैं कि मुझे और जानना है और समझना है, please reach out to Mr. Sharma on LinkedIn or reach out to me on LinkedIn. We'll try to connect with you and see how we can, pass on answers to you through comments on LinkedIn. So, thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. Now, this brings me to the last question. And the last question is still about psychological safety, लेकिन उसमें थोड़ा twist है. अभी पिछले कुछ महीनों से क्या हो रहा है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इज समथिंग दैट एवरीबॉडी इज स्पीकिंग अबाउट. दैट्स व्हाट चैट जीपीटी हैज डन, जनरेटिव एआई हैज डन, दैट एवरीबॉडी इज लाइक यार क्या होगा क्या होगा क्या होगा. और जैसे कि हमारा नेचुरल ह्यूमन रिस्पांस ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन होता है कि सबसे पहले हम लोग प्रिटेंड फील करते हैं कि एआई से क्या होगा, एआई से क्या होगा. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द वर्क प्लेसेस टुडे. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज आउट देयर who are feeling very unsafe. They're feeling psychologically stressed. So my question to you, Mr. Sharma, is that now with AI being the center of most conversations around, there is a lot of psychological chaos that's going in the minds of the people. So I want to know from you, what are your thoughts on AI and how do you suggest leaders and workplaces should deal with the psychological chaos that people are going through?
Prashant, this is a tough question, and this is a thoughtful question also. I think AI's impact on not only on workforce but on total humanity, I think it will be a mix of positives as well as negatives. There are some people who are worried that ChatGPT and other AI tools might replace, them at the jobs. But there are other people who are taking things very lightly and saying that no, 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 nothing will happen. It will just help humans in doing their jobs easily. It won't be a replacement. You must have heard all those sort of things. But truth is, and bitter truth is, that jobs are definitely going to go away because of technology. But then it's not the complete picture, Prashant. AI or automation shall replace manual, repetitive tasks, especially, for example, in our manufacturing sectors. Robots, AI systems, they are already in the process of development and deployment to handle assembly line work, packaging, quality control. So this will result in, I'll use the word job displacement for some workers. But then automation shall also create opportunities, for example, AI system development, AI system maintenance, AI supervision. So there will be an increased demand for workers, both blue and white collar, who can collaborate with AI systems, and they can utilize the AI generated insights. Uh, to improve the processes, to drive innovation. And AI powered tools, AI powered variables, they can provide real time assistance to workers, improving their accuracy, reducing their risk of accidents also. So we can say that rather than completely eliminating the job, I again repeat, it will lead to job transformations also. Now, question was not this. Question was how should organizations address the psychological impact on employees? Again, I'll come to all those three, 4 points which I said earlier also. One is this necessitates upskilling and reskilling of workers to adapt. Technicians who were focused on manual repairs now will need to develop skills in maintaining troubleshooting AI-powered machinery. So this upskilling is important, reskilling is important. Then education is important, and demystification of AI is also important because not only organizations but education institutions, government should provide education training programs to familiarize employees with the AI technologies, their capabilities, their limitations. I think if that happens, it can alleviate fears to an extent and build a more informed and more confident workforce. Uh, so, beside these 3 points, I think instead of viewing replace AI as a complete replacement, as I said earlier, organizations should emphasize the potential for collaboration between the humans and AI. I mean, leaders need to highlight the ways in which AI can augment, human capabilities, how it can automate mundane tasks, how can it enable employees to focus on higher value work. This perspective, if properly given, can help employees see AI as a tool which enhances the productivity and effectiveness rather than threat to the job security. Prashant, you and me read daily, and we are witnessing AI technologies evolving so rapidly. Even we are having difficulty in keeping pace with them. So here again, the culture of continuous learning and adaptability, which I said earlier, shall come to rescue. So leaders must encourage employees to embrace new technologies, upskill, reskill, and be open to acquire new knowledge and new competences. I'm sure it will help in reducing the anxiety in the employees. And last point is regarding implementation. When implementing AI systems or making AI related decisions, do involve employees in the process, seek their inputs, address their concerns, provide opportunities for them to contribute as to how AI can be integrated to their work. I think this participatory approach done will obviously empower employees. It will feel them valued, all those things which I said earlier, and feel them included in shaping the AI strategy, organization AI strategy. So, all said and done, we know that while AI can automate certain tasks, it's important for leaders to also recognize, emphasize, encourage the value of human interaction, the value of human connection, the value of team collaborations, क्योंकि वो AI नहीं कर पाएगा. So this will foster a supportive, inclusive work environment, and it will help counteract feelings of isolation, feeling of displacement that employees may experience, I think, due to AI implementation. I think this is all what I have to say about this very tough
Again,
question.
very
Very tough
valuable
question.
inputs. But you handled it well. मैंने bouncer फेंका लेकिन आपने छक्का मार दिया. I think that is, I'm glad you did. Because again, I like the perspective shift. क्योंकि कुछ क्वेश्चन का आंसर ऐसे दिया जा सकता है जो बहुत सरफेस पे निकल जाए, लेकिन कुछ क्वेश्चंस का ऐसा आंसर देना जो दूसरे को सोचने पे मजबूर कर दे is what is the beauty of such conversations, and that takes courage to do that. So thank you for doing that, Mr. Sharma. And the perspective that I take away from this response that you gave is how we should approach and how we should look at this change. AI is a change that is coming, right? And it's coming rapidly. So instead of being in panic कि यार अब क्या होगा, ये कैसे होगा, वो कैसे होगा, ये क्या हो गया, और being in denial कि यार ये कुछ नहीं होगा, दोनों responses जो हैं वो गलत हैं. The right response is to acknowledge that things are changing, is to understand what is changing, understand how it will impact, And a very important thing that you said is ask yourself, how can you collaborate with it? How can you work with it rather than fighting it? Rather than being that कि ये कुछ नहीं करने वाला है या ये सब कुछ ले जाएगा, how do I collaborate and how do I play with it? मेरे दिमाग में एक ऐसे ही आपके एग्जाम्पल आया कि उस टाइम पे लोगों के दिमाग में क्या चला होगा जब बुलेट कार्ट से सडनली लोग कार पे शिफ्ट हुए होंगे। लोगों को लगा होगा कि यार हमारा क्या होगा, गाड़ियां आ गई, बुलेट कार्ट्स पे कौन चढ़ेगा, घोड़ों पे कौन चढ़ेगा। और कुछ लोगों ने ये सोचा होगा कि मैं गाड़ी चलाना सीखता हूँ, अगर मैं गाड़ी चलाना सीख गया तो मेरे ऊपर इम्पैक्ट नहीं होगा, क्योंकि मैंने नया स्किल सीख लिया और अब मैं गाड़ी चला लूंगा, सो आई हैव मूव्ड ऑन। जो लोग घोड़े पे रह गए कि नहीं कुछ नहीं होगा, गाड़ी क्या है, 4 दिन है, 5वें दिन नहीं चलेगी, अरे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, they would have suffered. So that is what I see in your conversation. That ask yourself कि मैं कैसे अपने आप को अपस्किल कर सकूं, एआई के साथ कैसे कोलैबोरेट कर सकूं. And it's very important for the leadership of the organization, for the government of the country and the states to spread this education in people, to not worry about, to not get into panic, but acknowledge it, not to be quiet about it, silent about it, so that people stay in panic. इसके बारे में बात करिए और लोगों को बताइए कैसे वो अपस्किल हो सकते हैं, कैसे एआई के साथ कोलैबोरेट कर सकते हैं. So I think that's a very powerful perspective that employees and leaders both can avail. So thank you for sharing that, Mr. Sharma. And with that last ball sixer, it brings us to the end of the questions that I have.
Thank
मैंने
you so much.
मेरे ओवर में ये 4-5 बॉलें थी, मैंने फेंक दी, ओवर खत्म हो गया. आप आउट नहीं हुए, आपने सारे बॉलों पे छक्के मार दिए. So बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद for all your responses. I'm sure audience has got a lot of value, and I would again encourage you and request you to go back to this recording, watch it again because it requires to be listened multiple times for you to gain what exactly was said and bring that change in your leadership. If you're aspiring to be a leader, look forward to this. Try to apply these things as an employee so that you lead by example and show up as a leader when you become. If you're already a leader, apply these things because there are people watching. You're inspiring people every day. You're setting examples of what leadership is or a ripple effect create कर रहे हैं. So please apply these principles, these ways of functioning, so that your employees feel safe and they grow as leaders who further create and nurture psychologically safe workplaces. And I would like to end by saying that what Mr. Sharma said is creating psychological safety, building safe environment is not the objective, it's not the end goal, it's the means to the end. So if you are worried about कि यार results पे focus करना है, ये सब छोड़ो, then you're actually losing out. ये सब छोड़ोगे तो results भी सही नहीं आएंगे. So if you do this, you will get better results, and your people will be happier, you will be happier, and the culture will be a more empowering. So thank you once again, Mr. Sharma, for everything that
Thank
you
you so
shared.
much,
Thank you
Prashant.
for sharing your perspective and your
Thank you
time.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I shall see you sometime again. I hope you come back and have conversations with us again and share your knowledge and perspectives.
Thank you.
And everyone who is here with us live or who's getting the recording later, thank you for the support. Thank you for being here. And I hope we are adding value to you. Put in the comment section what else would you like me to discuss with the guests in the future, which will add value to you, because I very strongly believe that leadership is the backbone of an organization. अगर leadership में change नहीं आएगा, right from the frontline leadership to middle level to the senior management, organization में कोई भी substantial change नहीं आ सकती है. तो leadership के
Absolutely.
ऊपर focus करना है, and it's little things about leadership that matter the most. बड़ी बड़ी चीजें नहीं है, छोटी छोटी बातें हैं जो आपको शिफ्ट करनी है, लेकिन इम्पैक्ट बड़ा होगा. So on that note,
बिल्कुल आपकी
thank you.
वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस को भी ये इम्पैक्ट करती है.
बिल्कुल
आपकी जो वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस को भी ये साइकोलॉजिकल सेफ वर्क प्लेसेस इम्पैक्ट करती हैं, जो हमने ये महसूस किया है. क्योंकि जितनी आप पॉजिटिव होंगे, जितनी आपके अंदर एनर्जी होगी, तो वो आपकी फैमिली के अंदर भी वो ट्रैवल करती है.
बिल्कुल. Again, a very beautiful note in the end for people to think about how creating a psychologically safe workplace can impact your life as well personally and of your employees, of your
Absolutely.
people. कि आप कैसे एक ripple
Absolutely.
effect create करें. Thank you for ending this conversation on such a thoughtful note, Mr. Sharma, and thank you once again. And everyone, please take care. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful weekend ahead. And I shall see you on next Saturday with another impactful, knowledgeable guest with more insights and more learnings about leadership. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you
Thank you
once
so
again,
much
Mr. Sharma.
once again. Thank you.